What if I told you that along with those horrendous taxes you pay, you also pay additional ones that turn out to be even more expensive? Crazy, right? Well, I call it the comfort tax, and here's how it works. Every time you neglect an opportunity or a task because it feels way out of your safe space, you pay a tax. Not with money, but with regret, guilt, and mislearnings. Now, before I explain what this is and give that whole lecture on its importance, I'll get into the technical facts that really make up the concept, starting by understanding what a comfort zone is. Psychologists define a comfort zone as a behavioral state where a person operates in an anxiety-free condition through familiar routines and habits. Learning, growth, and experience gained is limited in this zone. Back in 1908, two psychologists, Yerkes and Dodson, studied the relationship between stress and performance. They found that with too little stress, performance is weak. You're bored, understimulated. With too much stress, performance crashes. Panic takes over. But with just the right amount of stress, focus sharpens, energy rises, and performance peaks. Comfort equals stagnation. Overload equals burnout. Growth lives in the middle, the zone of optimal discomfort. Your brain actually rewires once it's under the right level of challenge. Neurons strengthen their bonds, dopamine fuels motivation, and stress hormones, at small doses, act like rocket fuel. This has been proven through many examples through history. Every great myth or story has always started with the baseline of fear. Edison failed 100 times before he succeeded. Imagine what the world would look like if he had given in to defeat. J.K. Rowling got rejected 12 times before Harry Potter was finally accepted. Imagine what fantasy books would look like without it. Even through myths, the hero's journey always begins at the baseline of fear. But it's that adventure that transforms him. Because comfort zones do not create heroes. Discomfort does. Now, we've heard these stories so many times. But what about a teenager like me? Truth is, we live in discomfort daily, not knowing who we are, constantly living under the pressure of others who aren't any more experienced than us. Our triumphs through the pain are what teach us how to handle tomorrow. I'll share a story that has helped me find myself amidst the chaos of influence in people. For me, discomfort never came on stages. It came in garages. I've loved cars for as long as I can remember, but only recently have they really taken over my interests. Not only how absolutely insane they look, but how they work. Being a girl in this male-dominant field, let's just say that's been anything but easy. People didn't expect me to belong in this field. I'd get questions that weren't really questions. They were traps, set to prove that I just wasn't good enough. And I'll be honest, at first they worked. I didn't know as much, or I'd get it wrong, or I'd just blank out. And by the end of it, they were right about me. Somebody had once asked me, since you know so much, what's the best type of engine? I replied by saying, I don't know, knowing very well that I did. My best friend asked me later why I didn't answer even when I knew. I didn't know what to say to that, but it was the fear of being judged for getting it wrong. There were many times when comfort offered me the easy way out. Maybe this isn't for you. Maybe keep it as a quiet hobby. There will always be people who are better than you. Sometimes, comfort deceived my brain into thinking that cars just weren't for me and that I'd be better off without them. But every time I pushed past that, something shifted in me. I studied harder, I learned more, I loved them more. And by the end of it, the same people who started to make fun of me started to accept and respect me. Today, I know about cars inside out. Not because it was easy, but because it wasn't. I didn't just learn about cars though. I learned something bigger. Discomfort is the toll you pay to build credibility. And if I had not pushed past, I would have paid the tax of confidence loss. And this is a tax that I would have paid for the rest of my life. Here's where the tax part comes into play. When you avoid discomfort, at first you may think, oh God, I'm saving myself from so much pain, that headache of effort. But really you're not. You're paying interest. Every comfortable path you choose to follow today taxes your future possibilities. For example, you don't raise your hand in class out of fear. The voice could have mattered. I will never know. You don't take the job because it's too much responsibility. You stop making excuses. Tomorrow, you'll pay with the lack of skills that you could have gained. You don't confront that person who hurt you because you're scared. Tomorrow, you won't have the confidence to do so when you see your friend get hurt by the same exact person. The worst part, unlike real taxes, this one never refunds you, only adds to your debt. And sometimes it's too hard to come out of. On the flip side, discomfort pays off too. Every time you exit your comfort zone by doing new things, no matter how small, you grow sharper, stronger. For example, that super awkward conversation with the guy you like, it builds social skills and confidence. That horrendously stressful math exam, it sharpens discipline. That failed attempt at that chemistry project, it increases resilience, and hey, you learn a thing or two about chemistry. One small discomfort may feel insignificant and tedious in that moment, but over time, these moments accumulate, and the payoff is exponential. If I've learned anything, it's that everything happens for a reason. When times are rough, it's how life teaches me to fight back and return like a hero. It is only when you exit the comfort of your house, when you face harsh realities of the world, only then can you make a difference. Here's another example, one that happened to me when I was about 7 years old. Something that I will always take with me because it showed me that when fear says you will lose, I say try me. That's not going to happen. I've played the piano for over 10 years now, but only recently has it really taken over my interests. I played this piece called French Doll by William Gillock for this recital. These recitals were big. They consisted of 100+ people, students, parents, teachers, faculty members. It was the night before the recital when the head of the academy told me that I was making an absolute fool of myself and I was playing horribly. And if I continued, I would not be able to play tomorrow. So instead of giving in to what would be true, I decided to practice my pedaling, legato, and timing. I stayed at the academy until late in the night until I was more than just eligible to play. The next day, my palms sweating. Everything in me told me that I would make a fool of myself. So naturally, I sat down and I played. I don't remember the applause. I only remember the fear and the exhilarating feeling of when I finished. I ended up taking home a gold medal. If I'd given in, I would have paid the tax of confidence loss in myself and in front of others. Instead, I worked hard and I played the piano like it would be my last. The experience built a layer of courage that I have taken into every other aspect of life. So here's my challenge to you. Audit your comfort taxes. Where are you overpaying? Is it the conversation you avoid? The idea you never pitch or implement because you're too afraid? The skill you keep postponing because you're afraid to look stupid? Especially in today's world, where AI and technology are advancing at breakneck speeds, exiting our comfort zones is not optional. It is survival. And if we do not do this, the backlash will be unlike anything humanity has ever seen. There's this quote from the movie A Most Violent Year, said by the character Oscar Isaac, and it goes like this. When it feels scary to jump, that is exactly when you jump. Otherwise, you live your whole life waiting for the right moment, and I'll let you in on a little secret. There is no right moment. It's now or never. So you know what? I can lecture you about this the whole day. But it's up to you how you want to really implement it. So I will say this because I now have fully understood it. We only have one shot at this life. Why live small when you can win big? Why live for others when you are better? There's no point of doing that when the end is all the same. Might as well make it worth living for. Comfort feels safe, but it steals from you. Discomfort feels costly, but it pays you back with interest. So the next time you feel fear, don't retreat. Treat it for what it is, a sign that growth is near. Because life does not bill you in dollars, it bills you in opportunities. So the question is, will you keep paying the comfort tax or will you start collecting the discomfort dividend? Thank you.